So, hi there, it's time for some review. This time we go to Lithuania. That is, originally, now it seems the band has relocated. And what band are you asking? Luctus is the name of the game, and here we have the latest album, which I kinda doubt whether or not I should even try to pronounce it. But let's say it's called Užribis. Well, something in that direction, definitely. Now, this is a band that started early 2000s, their career, but it took quite a few years after demoing before they finally got out their first album, which is something that I kinda can recommend, having been listening to it when it came out, 2009. Since then, the band has put out a couple of other albums, but so to speak, they went under the radar. So I really don't know how to compare this one to previous one, but as it's always the case, you really don't want just compare albums and bands together as so much as to consider them as individual releases, individual artists. So here we are going to talk about this particular release and talk whether or not it's about worth listening to, worth buying, and so forth. As you can already imagine, the style here is sort of an extreme metal. Now, Metal Archives lists this band as black metal and later on black trash, but I am kind of more inclined to say it's sort of a black death with the focus on black metal, but nevertheless also featuring some death metal feeling or elements coming from death metal. Not only because of its growly vocals, obviously, there's more than that, but because, some of these riffs actually remind me a lot of what could be considered as, well, death metal meeting black metal. So here we have the band's Metal Archive site, and you can see how it started almost 20 years ago, and now it seems it's relocated to Italy. I truly don't know why, but I mean, people move and sometimes the lineup changes are a result of that. Now, as you can see, like half of the releases are forms of demos, splits, even a live album, whereas 4 albums are actually out. Now, this Užribis is the 4th album, and as you can see, some 49 minutes of music, all in a language you probably haven't even heard of, or at least you don't know how to read it, how to pronounce it, no more than me. So it's all about, being original Lithuanian product of extreme metal music. Now, what makes this actually fascinating is it's because it's dark and it's kind of without any comfort. It's black as hell. I mean, night. Hell is probably kind of lit up. And it's also kind of violent in the terms of death metal. But I would say this is some 70-80% black metal and the rest is more like death metal. But I really don't find any thrash metal elements here. But I mean, it's up to the individual listener, obviously, how you want to define a certain kind of music. Now, like I said, there are growly vocals and there is kind of like screamy vocals. So it's a little bit balancing with death metal and black metal. Not too foreign, I guess, most people in the extreme metal scene. I mean, there are lots of bands doing that black combination, and some bands manage to sound quite different. I mean, this is not the type of a black death combo which, say, reminds you of Blasphemy or Archcode, but more on the blackened side with definitely some death metal in it. And also, this is not the one of those bands which is just, constantly pushing the gas pedal. So it's not all the way, fast tempo, even though there are definitely some faster parts, but also mid-tempo parts, which I guess kind of leans a little bit to death, even doom death kind of a feeling with this very, very dark and oppressive atmosphere. Now, overall, I would say this is quite a nice album, definitely a decent one you probably want to give a chance to. But I feel a little bit not annoyed nor bothered by it, but say I feel like something magical is lacking. That is kind of a catchiness, which I know some people are like, hey, black metal is not supposed to be catchy. Death metal is not supposed to be hit-oriented or anything like that. But we all know what I mean. It's about good riffs. So you have these killer riffs with some other bands, and the rest of the bands are like, yeah, quite nice, but not really anything memorable. And unfortunately for Luctus, I don't think they are very memorable. So in the terms of atmosphere, really good stuff. In the terms of being memorable by single riffs or individual songs, not so much. Production is quite nice, and like I said before, the vocals having both ends, well, they're definitely more than decent. They're quite good in my opinion. So definitely an album justified to be released, or to be bought, but not really album of the year material. I would say go give it a chance, give it a listen, and maybe you will like it quite a bit. So nice release overall. Let's cheers to that. Oh, bye bye.